Curtis Calhoun here with MMA News, and right now I am joined by UFC veteran Jimmie Rivera, who's set to make his Bare Knuckle FC debut on June 24th against Howard Davis. Jimmie, how's it going, man?
It's going well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. First things first, just kind of take me inside the process of getting ready to Bare Knuckle box, and how pumped are you for your BKFC debut?
I'm excited, man. I'm just excited to get back in there and compete, especially. It's been a while. I had two fights fall through. One event got canceled, but then supposed to fight in May against Stat and Bare Knuckle, and that got canceled, got hurt. So it's good just to be back. The process, the process is a lot easier compared to an MMA fight. I don't have to do all these other things and wrestle and kickbox, all that. All I have to do is box. So it's kind of nice to really spend all your time on one attribute of, I guess you want to say, martial arts, than having to work on all these other ones.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that because I feel like with MMA, the downside to it and the benefit of just boxing is not having to deal with the strain that comes with wrestling, jiu-jitsu, as you just mentioned. How much of a benefit do you feel like that is for you? And do you feel like this experience has added some sort of longevity to your career at all?
I think it has. It's not as big of a toll on my body for longevity. And just experience in general, just like being able to box. I mean, some MMA guys are not the best boxers. I've always, been attracted to and really like boxing. We worked boxing plenty of times before getting ready for fights just to get our hands better, just going in boxing gyms and training with other boxers. So, I mean, it's been a great attribute to kind of do what I enjoy.
Definitely, man. And let's talk a little bit about your upcoming opponent, Howard Davis, undefeated, obviously a tough guy. What are your thoughts on the matchup, and what can BKFC fans expect for the fight?
I mean, the matchup, Howard's definitely tough. He's the number one ranked guy at 45. Besides him being number one ranked, he has a reach on him. He has some experience in the bare knuckle. You know what I mean? It's a little different, bare knuckles, than using gloves. Not that much difference, but I think the biggest difference is just it's a lot easier to get cut and get opened up. And then with the whole fight coming up, I mean, it could be an exciting fight. People always ask me, what were you looking for? Or how do you feel? I'm like, it's hard. I go, it's one of those things. It depends on how the other person shows up. There's types of people that like stand in the pocket, fight down the mouthpiece and throw. And then you have other people that run and don't stay in the pocket. And that's when, you can't run into that trap. Obviously someone stay on the outside, they're looking for you to charge in. That's when you get knocked out. You know what I mean? Just simple math, whatever the simple rule of thumb you want to call it. So it all depends on what Howard shows up. If he stays in the pocket, it's going to be fucking exciting. If he doesn't, it's going to be a more technical fight.
I gotcha. And just kind of talk about the whole experience of working with BKFC so far. Obviously, you haven't fought yet, but just working with BKFC president Dave Feldman and the rest of the brass. What has that experience been like?
It's good. All the guys are great. They're really nice, really cool, down to earth guys. It's been really good. I've spoke to Dave. I came out in Orlando when I was supposed to fight and kind of had a talk. Just I want to stay busy. I want to fight. After this fight, I'm not looking to wait another 6 months to fight again. Hopefully, I can get right back in. I want to try to get 3 fights this year. It's been one of my goals is to, try to get 3 is like the minimum, but 3 to 4 fights a year at least going. And again, it's not all on Dave. It depends on how I come out of this fight. And, if I'm good, I think one of the biggest concerns of going to BKFC is not really getting hit. Like everybody's like, oh, you're worried about getting hit with a bare knuckle. I'm like, I don't know. I've been kicked in the face with a shin. What do you think hurts more? The shin to my face or the,
right.
The knuckles? Oh my God. So I go, I'm not really worried about, getting punched. I'm more worried about punching and hitting like someone's top of the head or something like that. Someone told me recently that, Mike Perry's last fight, he stopped throwing as much because his hands just hurt so bad from throwing. And when I was watching this fight, when he fought that fight, all his hands just landed on that guy's face the whole time. He never really threw a bad shot. So I just can't imagine what your hands go through, for those 10 minutes, those 5 2-minute rounds, and how your hands feel afterwards. I saw Chad Mendes one time during an interview, and he said you could see his hand was still puffy, and that was like a month later from the fight. So it's like one of those things that I'm more concerned about throwing the punches that I'm missing and hitting somewhere I shouldn't get hit, then really getting hit.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I feel like one of the benefits of being with BKFC is obviously, you get that flexibility when it comes to if you want to return to MMA or if you want to do something else, you get that flexibility when it comes to your contract. How pumped are you for that? And how big of a player was that when you were negotiating?
So that was one of the things, because I never said I was going to stop doing MMA. I just, I got this offer at BKFC, and one of the things was being able to do both. And not only to do both, but like, what I was getting paid as well. The purse, was it was really appeasing. It was more than I'm getting in the UFC. So that makes a huge difference of where, I'm going to land to where I'm going to go. We had other people competing and we looked at other things, but it really couldn't beat, what they're offering purse wise. I mean, there are some things in the air because, you could do Grand Prix, and with Grand Prix, it's all the way to 3 to 4 fights in, but you can win $1 million. But that's 4 fights in compared to, fighting one fight and getting a nice big purse. So, it's, gotta weigh out the balances, gotta weigh it all out. But at the end of the day, I'm happy. And, with the contract itself, it's nice that I could go do MMA as well, and go from there.
Definitely. And obviously your money is in my business, but is it a substantial amount more than when you were in UFC, or kind of just give us an idea of the difference there?
It's definitely a good 50% increase from being in the UFC. You know what I mean? So that I can give you that. It's definitely a big increase than what it was in the UFC, which is, again, nice. And it helps because at this, as you get older too, you don't just look at like winning the belt. You know what I mean? Which is awesome, a great thing. You want to talk about the promotion. When I did sit down with Dave, there is a game plan. He didn't just say, all right, you're going to fight. Like with the UFC, it was a little frustrated. I didn't burn any bridges, but it was frustrating. At a certain point, I'm like, all right, how many more fights do I have to win to get a title fight? Where, Dave has a game plan for me. I come in, I'm fighting the number one guy. And he's like, listen, you beat this guy, you get a title shot. It's a tough fight. I go, but you beat him, title shot's next. I go, no, that's a no-brainer. All right, sounds good. And as you get older, it's not also about winning the belt, but it's also I have a family I want to take care of, and you also have to look at the financials too. That's important as well.
Definitely. And who's going to be in your corner for this one? Obviously, with a new experience, are you going in with a new corner or the same guys, or how's that?
No, same guy. Same guy's going to have Ron Showman, Ray Velez in my corner. They weren't in the last fight, but they were in the previous fights before that. And I don't know if I get a third. I'm not sure yet. Who my third is gonna. So, but my same team. I'm still being coached by the same guys. Ron Showman and Tiger Showman when he's there in the gym, and my boxing coach Ray Velez. So the coaching's never changed from all my fights I ever have. You find a team, you stick with them. I mean, we've been through thick and thin, and it's been a great experience. So coaching and all that's not changing.
And I'm sure one thing you're really pumped for is moving up to 145 pounds for this one. How much of a benefit do you feel like that is for you in terms of not focusing as much on the weight cut and focusing more on training?
Huge. I feel 10 times better in the gym. Just the fact that I'm not trying to get anorexic and look like I'm on a whole bunch of drugs or something like that. I'm trying to be professional here. It sucks making 135. I have to get down so low. I don't really walk around that weight. And, as you get older too, your body is a little different. So fighting at 45 and, going forward with boxing, bare knuckle, as well as MMA, it's going to be my next step, especially in MMA. I think 35 is long gone, and I'm going to stay at 45 until I retire.
I love it. And a couple more questions for me. Once again, I really do appreciate the time. We've seen a lot of other former UFC fighters make the move to BKFC, Paige Van Zandt, Chad Mendes, as you mentioned, Mike Perry. What do you feel like that says in terms of the BKFC product? Do you feel like BKFC is moving one step closer to becoming more of a mainstream promotion?
For sure. I mean, they have a great service. I mean, you could literally go on. I mean, just the events, watching events in general. You can literally go on bareknuckletv.com and let's say you don't want to subscribe to them. You pay $20 for the pay-per-view compared to where it's like $80 for the UFC. The other thing is if you subscribe, you pay $5 a month and you get to watch as many whatever fights they have that month. They usually always have 2 to 3 events a month, and I think that's really cool to be able to do that and only pay $5 instead. So you get the option of both, but it's really cool. Not to mention when you're watching an event, just in general, like, when I was there in the event, it goes quick when you're watching it, because I have watched events, especially that Chad Mendes and Mike Perry card.
Yeah.
I watched events. It's just one fight after another. There's no like a whole bunch of stuff in between the fights. There's just one after another. And believe it or not, those 5 2-minute rounds, they go quick. So it's really entertaining. And it's even if the fight's a little boring, it's still entertaining because it's not like you're watching a boring for 5 minutes. Like, it's 2 minutes, they come back in, then they go back out again. And sometimes the first 2 rounds might be a little boring, but then the third round, like, they turn it up. They're like, all right, well, you're losing this round, you got to win. And they turn it up. So the fights are exciting. The card goes quick. And it's nice. It's not like you're watching fights at like 1 a.m. in the morning. They're usually done. Even like a stack card's usually done by between 11 and 12, which is awesome. So it's definitely getting up there. And I definitely think it's going to be, something that it's going to compete with Bellator in the UFC.
Absolutely. And last question from me, what can BKFC fans expect from you in your debut?
You know what? As long as Howard wants to stay in the pocket and throw, it's going to be a really exciting fight.
Awesome. I love it. Well, before we wrap things up here, I'll give you the full, final word to shout out any sponsors you have, shout out your team, all that good stuff. I'll give you the floor. Yeah.
Thank you to doing the interview, and thank you to Team Tiger Showmans. And, I got my, Edge for my PT, Eat Clean Bro for my meals, First Round Management, always taking care of me and my management team. Also Believe. I just started training a little bit with Believe, where Shane Burgos, my teammate, trains. That's been an awesome experience. And just thank you for everybody that gives me all the support. It's really cool to have. I really appreciate it. Tiger Fight Gear, that helped me out too with gear. Also them too.
Awesome, man. Well, Jimmie, thanks again for the time. Good luck with your debut, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Thank you so much, man.
Sounds good, man. Have a good one.